Good evening. Welcome to the meeting of the Board of School Trustees for the Fort Wayne Community Schools District. It's Monday, June 27th, 2016. We have a relatively short agenda for tonight's meeting, but we do invite those of you who took the time to attend to stand with us for the recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We start with the roll call of members, so we'll just run through this quickly. Glenna Yale is not here tonight. She was excused from tonight's meeting. Here, though, tonight are Steve Corona, Becky Hill, Julie Hollingsworth, Ann Duff, Jordan Lebemoff, and my name is Mark Giaquinta. We're also joined tonight at the dais with our school superintendent, Dr. Wendy Robinson, and Barb Trout, who is the clerk to the board. Good evening, Dr. Robinson and Barb. So, with that having been said, tonight is a summer meeting. We've concluded our awards and recognitions. We do have the consent agenda this evening, which consists of the approval of the minutes from our June 13th meeting, the vouchers and payroll approval, and those are records of amounts that have been paid pursuant to our budget and votes of the board. The records are kept on file here at GRILE for a period of 7 years. The board has been given the copy of those last week for review. The personnel report will also be approved as part of the consent agenda. Dr. Robinson will look that over, and if there's anyone she would like to introduce or any matter she would like to call to the board's attention, she'll do that in just a second or so. And then finally, a temporary interfund loan. And that's a recommendation that the board approve interfund loans necessary to eliminate deficits in some funds and surpluses in others. And we're allowed to do that pursuant to State Board of Accounts rule and, of course, state law. And that's a fairly common occurrence about this time as we monitor our funds to see which ones are overspent and which ones are underspent. But it doesn't exceed or change the amount budgeted for the operation of the school year. Dr. Robinson, is there any matter included on the personnel report that you would like to call to the board's attention?
Just other than the fact that Dale Dorfler, who's the AD at Northside and has been there forever, is retiring.
What a great story about Dale in the Journal-Gazette. That was really interesting, and we want to say publicly, Dale, thank you for your years of service. You'll be remembered by students and athletes for a long, long time to come, and thank you very much. And good luck with retirement and taking the first step. I noticed that you said you were going to try it out and let Dean Dorfler know what it's like, and maybe he'd be following you. But in any event, we, the board, want to wish you the very best of luck in retirement. So, having said that, may I have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda?
Move approval of the consent agenda, Mr. Chair.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So carried. There is no old business on our agenda this evening. However, under new business, we have a student appeal. I want to state publicly how this works. The student whose name will remain anonymous pursuant to federal law has presented a case to the board involving an incident in one of our schools. The student and his parent were represented. We explained to the parent the standard that is applied when the board is called upon to either support or change the decision of the school superintendent or her designee. This was the third step in the disciplinary process. So this student and the parent were afforded an opportunity to present their case both at the school level and then on appeal here at the administrative level prior to the matter coming to the board. The board explained to the parent that we are not a fact-finding board. We are allowed, however, to take into consideration evidence that was newly discovered and which was not presented at one of the hearings previously held in this matter. It so happens in this case that there was no new evidence. We were asked to examine the evidence and perhaps reinterpret it, and that we are not legally allowed to do. So with that, there is a recommendation from our superintendent that the board uphold her decision with regard to the decision of the examiner in a student discipline case. The appeal is being taken pursuant to policy 5611. We did attend an executive session that started at 4:30 this afternoon to hear the student appeal. There appear to be no new evidence presented nor any unresolved issue of board policy that the board could articulate. So with that having been said, we will entertain a motion at this time with regard to appeal case 15-16-689.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so there's a motion that the recommendation that the board uphold the decision, or for the board to uphold the decision. There's been a second. All those in favor signify.
Mark, please, as I've spoken with you previously, I believe I'm conflicted out of this decision-making, so I recuse myself from the vote.
Okay, very good. So the motion and second with a recusal from Mr. Lebmoff. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Is there anyone opposed? Same sign.
Aye.
And one in opposition. So the vote to uphold the decision is 4-1, and so that decision will be allowed to stand. And I want to thank the board members, all of you, for your efforts to give this the attention that it did deserve, and we move forward. Finally, the other issue of new business is an approval or a request that the board approve the Bowen Center as the provider for the Employee Assistance Program and Students Assistance Program for the period July 1, 2016 through June 30th of 2018, about a 2-year deal. Request for proposal was distributed a month ago. 9 vendors responded. The Bowen Center has been the EAP provider for Fort Wayne Community Schools since July of 2006. They have the lowest pricing available. In addition, they have a local office here in Fort Wayne. There are 8 other locations available for employees living outside the city, so accessibility is a factor. The price from the Bowen Center is $65,000 per year for the first 2 years. It may be extended by mutual agreement for 3 more years should the district decide to do so at no additional price increase beyond those currently proposed or changes to the terms of the contract. So the price for year 3 would be $67,290. 4, as you can see, $69,667, and year 5, $72,130. This is low bid. Clearly, they are responsive because they've had our business in the past, and their satisfaction from the Human Resources Committee with the job they do. I would ask for a motion that we approve this.
So moved. Second.
There is a motion from Julie and a second from Steve. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I vote yes as well. So that motion passes. There is no further new business, but we will at this time accept comments from board members if there are any. Steve, any comments?
Very briefly, I had, on behalf of the board, a chance to attend a couple of national conferences in Washington. Had a chance to meet U.S. Education Secretary King. Told him that we were doing some very good things, talked about the stability of both our superintendent and our board working together, told him about our, as an urban district, our graduation rates, told him we had work to do, but he was pleased to hear that report. Also heard information about the new federal Elementary Secondary School Act and very specific language in the law that says we have a role to play in shaping the Indiana State Plan. First deadline is next spring, and so we need to be proactive on that. It's a situation where Congress has specific language in the new law that says the state is not going to shove before you a plan that they've written. You should be actively engaged in that process. So I think that's really, really good news. Interestingly enough, the other thing that we need to be giving some thought to, it's not a front burner issue, but the 2020 census. And what they're talking about is the significant undercount that occurred in 2010 with minority children and specifically Latino children. And what folks don't understand is that an accurate count is very important to local districts like ours, because federal funding is based on an accurate count. And if there is an undercount, that means we're leaving federal dollars on the table once the 2020 census is committed. So it sounds like a long time away. This is 2016, but it's not. And so I know I'm going to get involved with some local organizations about making sure that we accurately count every child in our district. So that's my report to you.
I don't have anything.
I was invited to attend Camp Discovery at Northwood, where they had probably 8 to 10 different people in the community have a chance to speak to these students about their careers and the obstacles they had to overcome to get into the careers they are, and different things like that. And a lot of these speakers had very similar backgrounds to the students, and if they didn't, they still had some obstacle that they had to overcome and share that with these students. And it was just a very moving day to see how these people worked hard to get where they are. My husband was invited as well to be a speaker on a different day, so I didn't get to see him speak, but he does have a great, almost a rags to riches story that he shared. And I was also very happy that he gave credit to one of his teachers for, inspiring him to get where he is today, really. So I just wanted to thank Rena Clemens for inviting me, and I really enjoyed that opportunity.
Jordan?
My wife likes the new pre-registration online. She really likes it. It cuts down on the time that she's going to have to spend there with both kids. It's efficient. I think it's a great idea. It works for my family.
My comment has to do with a news article that appeared in the Fort Wayne News Sentinel concerning the local Tea Party members who are holding a forum on discussing concern with the makeup of the Fort Wayne Community School Board. That article stated that local Tea Party members are concerned about the, quote, progressive bent, unquote, of the Fort Wayne Community School Board. The spokesperson, who lives in Northwest Allen County Schools District, has therefore scheduled a meeting to discuss the Fort Wayne Community School Board. The meeting will be held in the Southwest Allen County School District. So the point being that they believe the district can be a better steward of its finances with money reallocated to better serve students while still holding down cost. That will be an interesting discussion, I think, because I can think of no more fiscal conservative board or governmental entity in Allen County than this one. So to that end, I will read what I have posted publicly. Having read the article, I said, this takes stupid to a new level. These people apparently don't fix their 50 to 100-year-old homes because it's progressive. 2, they don't come to meetings, but they complain they aren't heard. I have to say, they've kind of got me there. They aren't happy with the city council's wheel tax, so the solution, according to them, is to change the makeup of the Fort Wayne Community School Board. Our improvement bond didn't raise tax rates, so they want the public to throw out the group who voted for that and elect Tea Party members who support not raising tax rates. 72% of the public supported the bond to repair our buildings, but they claim people aren't being heard. I conclude by saying, good Lord, save us and our children from these wackadoodles. And I mean that sincerely. This is really ridiculous. The meeting is July 20th at 6:30, You will have to leave Fort Wayne Community School District to attend, but I want to assure the public that you are heard. We came in on time and under budget with our first bond. The results have been just terrific for our students and their parents, and terrific for our neighborhoods, because the value of homes in neighborhoods oftentimes reflects the stability of the public school system. We have committed, and our team is hard at work at putting together the second phase of the bond, and yet even then we will have schools starting in August, completing their work in June without air conditioning until we're finally and fully finished several years from today. So when you hear progressive, I would urge you, look at what progressive means. It means making progress. And if you look at our graduation rates, if you look at our effort to improve our schools, if you look at the incredible work done by our superintendent, our nationally known superintendent and her team, and if you look at the work of the most important group of all, the teachers in the classrooms, that's progressive. And that's good news for the district and its parents and students. So I've said what I had to say, and I wish you a good meeting. Don't hesitate to come down to our board meetings. We'd be happy to have you be heard. Dr. Robinson, any comment tonight?
Not after that.
Okay. So thank you, and with that, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thanks, Steve, and a second. Thanks, Jordan. So all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. So the meeting is now adjourned. We'll hang around should anybody care to be heard, because we have a microphone in the middle of the room.